me retrouver aujourd'hui au volant de cette diabolique berlinette.
To find myself at the wheel of this diabolical berlinette, for me, it's absolutely extraordinary. Because I've spent thousands of hours at the wheel of this vehicle. I've gone millions of kilometers on tar roads, infernal dirt roads, sand, water, you name it. And when you realize that in the end, the Alpine was based on a production model, simply on the R8 to create a genuine competition car that won the World Championship for make, well, frankly, it's something that even we didn't expect. An Alpine doesn't hold to a straight line, but on the curves, it's more than a pleasure, it's a joy. It's hard to see how you can put it wrong in such an acrobatic car, a faithful car, a car that never, never betrays its driver.
C'est une voiture qui jamais, jamais ne trompe son pilote.
I see you've kept a few photographs as souvenirs.
Oui, des photos du tout début où Alpine était encore.
Yes, pictures of Alpine's very beginning when it was still made in an old factory but attached to the Renault concession. Then they moved to Avenue Bréauté. It was really a sort of workshop where you'd see all sorts of cars. And the mechanics had their hands full. This is, let's say, the stock room. Bodies would come in directly from Renault. They were open so that parts could be accessible. And there were doors. Here you see complete rear assemblies with engines all mounted, waiting to be placed into new bodies. It wasn't an assembly line, and it wasn't easy. These are the pioneers of Alpine, of the competition. First Gilbert Arrivel, then lots of them, Jean-Paul Castilleux, Titi Bizou Coco, all the first mechanics. The workhorses. It wasn't 35 hours a week, it was 35 hours a day.
Ah, ben là, c'est François.
That's François Lermoyer, with my car, at the first San Remo in '70. That one I won. My first victory, and let's say for Alpine in the European Championship Rally. This one's the same before Le Mans. There were mainly racing drivers. I was with Jean-Pierre Nicolas, and we were the only rally drivers taking part in the Le Mans 24 Hours. Those are all the drivers.
Mais ça, ce sont tous les pilotes avec Monsieur Redelais. Alors forcément,
Mr. Redelais is there.
On voit que deux pilotes de
There are only two rally drivers, Jean-Pierre and me. All the rest are racing drivers.
C'était quand même toute l'équipe, mais
the whole team.
Nous, en tant que rallyman,
we didn't look too happy. But that didn't prevent Jean-Pierre from winning Best Performance, and my winning the Economy Award. The important thing was showing that rally drivers could handle everything in the race. Unfortunately, that's a bad memory. Jacques Chénis, just after his accident at Le Mans. You see him still wearing his headband, but he came out of it okay. That's Mr. Amédée Gordini with Mr. Redelais at the Le Mans 24 Hours, because Amédée was with us all the time. That was a sales strategy, the gendarmerie driving berlinettes. Most of these vehicles were around Châlons, on the north-south main highway, checking speeds. And if you were speeding, they'd catch you because they had racing engines and the cars went very fast.
Comme j'avais toujours rêvé de berlinette à cette époque-là.
Since back then, I'd always been dreaming of a berlinette.
Les tarifs et tout et toute la doc pour voir.
I went to a dealer and priced them, picking up all the sales brochures to form a precise opinion.
Avec 4 vitesses, attention, on passe.
There was the 4-speed 1100 series, not 5-speed, priced all the same at 16,960 francs. The GT4 Coupé, the Berlinette Tour de France, all the models and options, seat belts all around, really nice. There were also convertibles, which were absolutely fabulous. If anybody's got one now, he'd be well advised to hold on to it. It's a very beautiful car. The little stars on the hubcaps are cool. It's really a beautiful car.
Elle était déjà très belle.
Sur le plan technique, la compétition est une école extrêmement sévère et elle nous oblige à des progrès constants. Et nous devons transposer tout ce que nous faisons sur les voitures de compétition à court ou moyen terme sur les voitures de production. Et il n'est absolument pas question de changer sur ce point d'un trétique.
Les départs seront donnés dans l'ordre croissant des numéros, la voiture ayant le plus petit numéro partant la première, avec un intervalle d'1 minute entre chaque voiture.
L'Alpine a été pensée en utilisant des mécaniques Renault de grande série.
Avant d'arriver à un contrôle, les concurrents seront pénalisés à raison de 30 secondes par minute pour le parcours de concentration, 60 secondes par minute pour le parcours. À la fin de chacune des 3 épreuves, les voitures seront soumises à un contrôle technique rigoureux.
Utilisant des mécaniques Renault, on était obligé bien sûr de concevoir des voitures en réalisant un châssis et une carrosserie particulièrement légère, et résistante et fine au point de vue aérodynamique.
Voilà, voulez-vous mettre le moteur en marche, s'il vous plaît?
On allait découvrir ses qualités de résistance et la robustesse d'organes essentiels dont 90% sont dérivés des produits sucrés.
Total de kilomètres à parcourir, environ 5600 en 5 nuits et 3 jours, soit un temps moyen au volant de quelques 80.
Performance, qualité. Pour un grand pays exportateur, ces victoires jouent un rôle considérable.
Tout est prêt? Allons-y.
L'automobile est une retombée naturelle de l'activité industrielle. Elle est génératrice d'expérience et de maîtrise croissante. C'est la santé d'une industrie. N'est déjà plus qu'un souvenir. Mais quel souvenir! Le champagne s'est évaporé sur les lignes d'arrivée, mais la preuve est faite. Le secret du succès, s'il en est un, la confiance tout simplement dans des produits de qualité. De l'amour propre en somme. Car derrière les exploits et les faces d'un championnat du monde, ce sont des milliers d'hommes qui s'identifient à de pareilles victoires. Mécaniciens, ouvriers, ingénieurs, techniciens.
Well, Jean-Luc, the Road Marathon 71 must be a terrific memory for you.
Un très très beau souvenir.
Ah ben, c'est doublement un souvenir parce que
well, yes, it's a doubly good memory.
Place et en plus,
because we finished in first place,
toute une bande
and we organized a team of friends.
Avec comme pilote mon principal ami Maurice Nussbaumer.
And as driver, my best friend Maurice Nussbaumer, along with Jacques-Henri and me. Racing for 96 hours was for us an extraordinary challenge. We said, why not try it? We weren't risking anything, and it could be fun. Our wives came along with cars and friends. It was like a caravan, really a great time. It was on the big Nürburgring 24 kilometers. We were the only French team, and the only one driving an Alpine. We set off in great confidence, but we couldn't be too sure. The competition was tough. In addition, Porsche entered 3 cars, with Elford driving the first, Larousse in the second, and Tschetschendans in the third. This is Bizou, who was so tired he puts the wheel on backward. Good old Bizou, a great mechanic. But after 85 hours of racing, he was a little tired. That's Jacques-Henri, who takes over from Jacques. All the same, 96 hours is strenuous for only 3 drivers. We were starting to show signs of fatigue. But finally, we won in front of the Porsche. That's the finish line. When we saw that Porsche had blown its engine, I said to Jacques deliberately, "It's important that you finish beside him to show that our Alpine is fresh and the Porsche ends up in a cloud of smoke." And that was really great, and it irked the Germans at home, of course. At the podium with Maurice Nussbaumer in the center, Jacques-Henri to his right, and me on the left, with charming German girls, but that's a different matter. And besides, our wives were with us. Right there, the Berlinette is in snow. Now, how did the car handle? Quite honestly, on snow, I don't think you could beat it, because it was a very responsive car, terribly agile. The only problem a driver had was oversteering in curves. When you enter a curve with a controlled skid, the car has a tendency to go straight. That is, it understeers. So you always have to anticipate by balancing the car a little to make it turn. Then, the instant it starts, the skid, it's a toy, it's a pleasure. You can do whatever you like. I drove millions of kilometers that way because everybody enjoyed driving this car in snow. It was a real joy. Notice the little push, because if you don't do that afterward, you go into the curve straight and then she won't turn. We had a good time. We played Follow the Leader, did Berlinette ballets, because we had mastered the car so completely. With its ease in driving, we had a lot of fun. We closed off minor roads, and we played at skidding, constant skids. A real pleasure to drive. That was fabulous. It's Sweden. We did test driving on frozen lakes there, because average temperatures are from -30 to -40 Celsius. On Malmö, Karlstad, 40 centimeters of ice with a coating of snow. We'd set off and drive on this living ice like a river, really extraordinary. At first we were a little intimidated by the Scandinavians. But then we proved that any of the Alpine drivers could match them in speed. There was no need to be intimidated. Now that famous Monte Carlo of '71. It's an important one for you because you were in the lead after the special at Saint-Jean-de-Royan. Yes, and don't forget, there were tire studs to consider. It wasn't like the Monte Carlo is today because it was very long and we had problems with studding the tires for snow. We left on that last night, Ove Anderson in front in a Berlinette, naturally. I was in second at 42 seconds, and I figured that Jacques Chénis would say, "Okay, just hold on," because that was already a good result, having 2 cars in front, especially since in third Jean-Claude Androuet had made it. But Jacques was a real sportsman. He liked a good fight. He said, "Guys, it's your choice. Do whatever you want." So off we went, and we fought a real race. After those 8 trials, where we fought like bulls, we were still at our original positions. We drove well, but didn't move the cars ahead. For Alpine, it was a great success. With Anderson, we drove a fantastic race. So the Turini is unique, the mythical special. But in addition, you'd come out into a veritable tunnel of light with hysterical fans along both sides. A real fight. Sometimes gendarmes tried to intervene, but then it was extraordinary because if they did, the French and Italians joined forces against them, and there was no more rivalry. Here's a berlinette coming out. Understeering. We had to drive with orange lights. The others had white. When berlinettes appeared, we saw orange lights. We knew it was the Alpines. There, the Italians, they were waiting at hairpin curves with electronic flashes, and they'd keep flashing until we were blinded. We had to run the Turini wearing sunglasses. It seems crazy, but we ran the Turini Pass 3 times, twice in one direction, once in the other. That was really something. It's not the same thing now, but I still have a festive memory of it. That's in a stadium, absolutely extraordinary. On sheet ice with François Lermoyer, chief mechanic, with Bizou. And it was a racetrack with 4 cars. Remember, '73 was the only year where Sweden raced without tire studs, so driving on fresh snow over sheet ice, it was a difficult year. Jacques told me, your wedding present is an Alpine, so there I was in Sweden just at the start. The car had been checked. I left with Jean-Pierre Nicolas' notes and my present, a berlinette to do Sweden, where I was lucky enough to finish 3rd. And gain points for the World Championship. That's the Austrian Alpine Rally that Bernard won. So competition back then really had teeth, and the power difference between the Porsche and the berlinette was considerable. Yes, but it didn't matter. We still had the best car. We were always in the lead because Bernard Darniche won the Austrian Alpine Rally and the ones following. We won others in the World Championship. You can see how well the berlinette handled when you watch how Bernard took the succession of tight curves. That's the Alpine. We had soft suspension with a fast takeoff acceleration. The front end actually rose up. It's true that the lack of power was compensated by the agility of the car. Now it's a little outmoded. But by installing modern brakes and tires, for me, even if it's not a 4-wheel drive, it would still be competitive, especially for long rallies. How did you celebrate being world champion? It was very hard. There was still the RAC to run, but we were confident, sure that Alpine would be world champion. We had a terrific celebration. It was a wonderful atmosphere because the mechanics as well as the drivers and Mr. Redelet and Jacques Chénis, we were all considered equal, a bunch of pals who had won.